Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the Momentum Shift is what you've been looking for. The Momentum Shift.
In a world where shifts can either hold you back or propel you forward, we're here to explore the art and science of harnessing momentum. I'm your host, Eric Collier, and together we'll dive deep into the story, strategy, and mindset of today's guest, who has mastered the art of riding the wave of change. Now let's get this shift started.
The Momentum Shift.
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift, where we get inspired, get moving, and get results. I'm your host, Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and the mental quicksand expert. Look, I'm excited about being here with you today because the momentum shift is real to me. And when I talk about these momentum shifts and what we need to do to get our lives in a better situation, to create this positive, life-changing shift that we need, it's real to me. I don't talk it because I heard it. It's something I heard about. I talk it because it's something that I've lived. I remember that moment where I'm standing in my living room. I'm 30 years old, married, 3 children. We got a house. We got the car. I'm transitioning from the military to the civilian world. And the man helps me realize that the reason my life was the way it was is going down the path that it was in, where I wasn't happy. I'm financially struggling in my relationships. It was because I didn't have any dreams or vision. I wasn't working on anything that was meaningful goals. I was just getting up every day, waking up, believing that my life was done, that it wasn't going to get any better, that I couldn't change things. And I was hoping that somebody would come and save me. That I laugh because I know I was this person that would get out of the car and rush to the mailbox, hoping that there was a check in there that would change my life. I was bad. I was hopeless. I was waiting on somebody to come and save me. I was really bad. And it wasn't until I had that moment, and this moment I'm really proud of, because you have to have moments like these aha moments, to help you change your life. Because sometimes somebody just needs to pop you in the head and say, hey man, wake up. And this was that moment for me, because it was that aha moment. And I'm so glad that in that moment, I chose not to go into that turtle shell and hide in fear, doubt, and worry. This moment, I decided to do something that I had never done before. You see, when people would bring me opportunities to change my life or present me with something that appeared to be challenging, take up time, money, I would always say, you know what? It's not the perfect time. It's not the right time. It's not right now for me. This time, I looked at him and I said, how can I change this? And it was that question, how can I change this, that has changed my life tremendously. And so I talked to you about the momentum shift because that's where my momentum shift started. Now, was that the one that changed my life forever? Nah, no, but that momentum shift was big because it changed the game. It helped me learn that I do have the ability to change my life. I don't have to wait on somebody to come and save me. I can be my own superhero. I didn't have to wait on somebody to partner up with me to help me start getting moving again. I didn't need somebody to give me money to get going. I learned that I had what it took. And what it took was that assessment to understand where I was in life. And that assessment that helped me understand where I was those 3 questions. He says, well, what have you done over the last 5 years that help you increase your salary or significantly change your life? I hadn't done anything. Why? Because I wasn't dreaming. I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any ambitions. I wasn't working towards anything. I was just in my daily routine where it was, oh God, it's Monday. Thank God it's Friday. Let's go to the liquor store, get my beer because there are going to be games on. It's going to be a barbecue. I'm hanging out. I'm relaxing. I'm chilling. And that's what I did. I watched a lot of TV, didn't do a lot. Now, yeah, there were times where I'm coaching my kids and coaching other kids in sports, but most of the time, I was wasting a lot of time watching TV and watching everybody else live their dream and not me. Wallowing in self-pity as I drank my beer. Well, when is it going to happen for me? Man, my life will never be that way. I lost my opportunity back when I couldn't play baseball, Major League Baseball. Well, it's that attitude that we've got to change. And that's what that moment did for me. And when I took that self-assessment of not doing anything over the last 5 years. I wasn't doing anything at that time. That meant that I was going to be doing the same thing the next 5, 10, or 15 years. Not only that, I was going to be reaping the rewards of what I had sown the previous 5 years, which was nothing, right? So we reap what we sow. So since I wasn't sowing anything, I wasn't going to get anything. And that whole cycle was going to continue. So it was at that moment that self-assessment helped me realize that I needed to do some things and I needed to take charge of my own life. How was I going to do that? Well, first I had to go in and I had to transform my mind. Transforming the mind is key to changing things because it's how you view things and it's how you do things. Thoughts become things, as Oprah Winfrey said. And the thoughts that I was living in was the doubt, fear, and the belief. Well, I don't have what it's going to take. I don't have the ability or the capability to change things. I'm not good enough. And they became stories that I sold myself on. Well, my parents never did this. People I grew up with never did it. It's not going to happen. It's not for people like me. Then it became excuses that I thought that I was using that were as reasons for not doing. And what I was doing was basically holding myself back. So I had to start working on my mind. And how did I do that? The gentleman introduced me to self-help. And that, my friends, was a game changer. Because he asked me the question, what was I reading? And I wasn't reading anything. I hadn't read a book as an adult. The only book I had ever read was The Godfather. And that book wasn't doing anything to help me change my life. I didn't believe my life could change. So why would I read a book? That wasn't going to do anything for me. I was done with school. I wasn't trying to read another book. And so because of that, I wasn't transforming my life. I didn't believe that it was possible for me. And so you got to explore this doubt that you have about yourself and why you're doubting your ability, your capabilities, and why you don't believe you have the ability. And most of the time, it's because of your belief system. You're not reading. You don't believe that you can do more. You believe that you're done. I went to school. I got a job. I'm done. I'm going to ride this out till I'm 64. And then I'm going to live the life that I've always wanted to live. Well, let me tell you that as General Schwarzkopf once said, that's a bunch of bovine scatology. Happiness lies in living with a life filled with meaning, value, and purpose. And if you don't have any goals, if you're not waking up every day with a meaningful goal or something to accomplish and no vision for the future, you are not living, my friends. You're just surviving. And your surviving is just another way of saying that you've become a zombie walking through life, waiting on your day when God calls you home. So what I want you to do is to focus on what you could become. You see, where you're at now, you're not designed to stay there forever. That's called growth. Think about this. When you were born, each year you had a birthday. They were measuring you, seeing how tall you were, how much you weighed, because it's a growth process. And you grow every day. You grow every month, every year. That's what you're designed to do. You're under construction for the rest of your life if you're in the right mindset. And many people who will find themselves stuck in a life that they're not happy in, a life where they're stagnant, where their life is not a life that they really want to be in, they've stopped believing that they can grow. They stopped learning. Your job is to keep learning And as you keep learning, you get excited about things because you realize that it all comes down to the way you think about things, right? Thoughts become things. And thoughts of doubt, thoughts of fear, thoughts of worry will hold you back if you don't learn how to switch that whole thinking process. And I think it's very important because you got to become your own superhero, as I said. And you're becoming your own superhero comes with you empowering yourself. You see, superheroes have this personal power, this strength that allows them to go out and leap tall buildings in a single bound. You have the ability to lift a train. You have the ability to really change your life if you believe that you can. I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali. He's he's the greatest boxer of all time. And I love him simply because of the mindset and the approach he had on stepping into the ring. He believed he was a champ long before he stood in the ring and won the belt. He told everybody he was the greatest. I'm the greatest of all time. They tried to shut him up. He kept talking. I'll show you how great I am. He didn't let anybody stop him. He didn't let anybody shut him up because that's what he believed about himself. And we've got to become our own superhero. We got to become our own hype man. We got to become our own cheerleader because we need that. I'm a big believer in that. My life mantra is simply this. I just keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for me. And that's what you got to take on, that mindset of nobody's going to give me anything. My mom told me that I don't know how many times. You got to get up, get out and go get what you want in life. Because if not, you're going to watch life pass you by. You're going to watch other people living a life of happiness. You know how you do every day when you're watching TV? They're living that happiness, that life that they've always wanted, that goal that they wanted to live in. They're living that. Now it's your turn to stand up and start doing that. And I'm really excited because the momentum shift that you create, whether you believe it or not, people are watching you. And the momentum shift that you create for yourself, yes, it starts for you, right? You're trying to change things. A lot of times we're trying to change things financially. We're trying to change things in our relationship. And we're thinking that we're doing it just for those reasons. But what happens is it becomes bigger than that. You know why? Because people are watching you. And the people who are watching you are younger than you. They're your neighbors. There are people who just happen to notice that you're happy. There are people who notice the energy you have when you walk into the room, the confidence that you have. And they're looking at you and they go, why is this person happy? And as they watch you and they watch you perform, they say leaders talk the talk and walk the walk. And as you talk the talk and walk the walk, you're attracting other people to you. And I always tell people, this life that we're in is about connecting the pieces to life's puzzle. We're putting together this pretty pattern, this puzzle with no pretty pattern, picture, or design. And that's what makes it so difficult. We don't have any instructions. We don't know how this life's puzzle is supposed to go. We have no idea as to what we're putting together. And therefore, a lot of times our puzzle is not connected the right way because we're not thinking about the connections that we make. And so I tell people all the time, life is about connecting to others. And it's got to be connected to you first, because it's that connection that you have to what it is you want to do that's going to drive your connecting with other people. Here's what I'm talking about. There's a reason that you want your life to change. There's something that's really important to you. There's something that you want to accomplish. There's something that you want to change. There's something that you want to experience. There's something you want to have. And there's that connection that you have with that will wake you up every day, that will keep you going no matter what, no matter how tired you are, no matter how hungry you are, it'll keep you going. And that connection is going to help you connect to others. Why? Because this connection, this drive, this passion that has created inside of you lets you know that you're moving forward no matter what, and I'm not going to stop. There's somebody out there I've got to connect with, and it helps you identify who those people are that you need to connect with. And sometimes you're not going to have the right answers. We don't always have the right answers. I don't know everything. I'm not the most intelligent person, but I know this, that even though I don't have the right answers, where sometimes when I didn't have the right answers, I'd allow that to stop me. Now I understand that when I don't have the right answers, my job is to just take a shot. Take the shot, man, and see if it's going to fall. That's what you got to do. Take your shot. Most people won't take their shot. For years, I wouldn't take my shot at speaking. I wouldn't take my shot. I had the opportunity to speak with the man I wanted to learn from. He said, hey, I can coach you. I said, no. Believe that? Can you believe that? You got the person right there in front of you that you want to teach you, that you want to work with, the person that can help you elevate your life. I said, no. I didn't believe in myself enough. I didn't believe I had the ability or the capability to do it. And I wouldn't take my shot. I said, no. But then what happens? You have that moment, that aha moment where you realize, man, if I don't take this shot, I can't win this game. And so you got to take that shot. Just take the shot. If the ball bounces around up there on the rim, at least you have some hope that it'll go in. And that's what you want. You want some hope and belief that if I take this shot and I get it up there on the rim, somehow it's going to go in. I know it's going to go in. If I can get it up on the rim, I'll run and I'll tip it in. Somehow it's going to go in. And you got to take your shot. Man, Wayne Gretzky, famous Hall of Fame golf hockey player, he said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Imagine that. Imagine Michael Jordan stepping on the basketball court, never taking a shot. We would not be talking about him. Those of you who pay $250 for his shoes, you would not be wearing them. There would be no airmen. There would be no Jordans. You would not be experiencing the game at the level that it's at right now because he didn't take his shot. You got to take your shot. If you want to change your life, you got to take your shot. And life-changing momentum shifts, positive life shifts don't happen if you don't take your shot. So you've got to take your shot. As I mentioned before, Theodore Roosevelt talks about the man in the arena. Oh, man. The credit belongs to the man who is in the arena, whose face is marred by sweat, dust, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Man, you got to get in the arena because it's in the arena where you find out what it is you have to be able to take your life to the next level. I always say you got to stop practicing at some point and you got to get in the game and really challenge yourself to see how good you could become, because it's in the arena where you find out exactly what you have. You find out just exactly how tough the competition is. A lot of times we can create this competition or we can create this story about what it is we're trying to do and how hard it is that we don't even try. What's the saying? You create a mountain out of a molehill. Man, I don't know how many mountains I created when it comes to creating my life-changing momentum shift. So many times I hear from people I coach, I hear from people I work with, it's too hard. Do you realize what it takes to make it happen? Do you realize what it takes to make it happen? Have you even tried? Have you even given it a shot to have an idea? I can tell you this, the things that I always wanted to do, that I would create that mountain out of a molehill and really say it was too hard, too much to overcome. When I actually got out there and did it, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. It wasn't as painful as I thought it was. It wasn't as tough and difficult and challenging as I thought it was. And you know what? That inspired me to go out and do it again. Yeah, when you take that shot, what happens is, man, I just barely missed that. What if I tried it again and with this arch, right? What if I try this again with this force? What if I tried it again with this effort? And that's the key. The effort that you put in to create the life-changing momentum shift, that's where the game changes. Effort and mindset are going to be key to changing things. So when you want to become the superhero of your life, when you want to create the life-changing momentum shift, creating your mindset to take on the levels of adversity that you face. Taking the levels of adversity that you face and understanding that things are happening for you, not to you. So many times something will happen and you go, why me? Why am I failing again? Why am I not getting this right? Well, here's what I want you to know. Things come at you to make you better. So things come at you and you get challenged with certain situations and circumstances because you've got to become better at the task at hand, taking on the task at hand, right? How you face adversity and challenge. A lot of times emotionally, we whimper and we whine and we cry and we don't go after that moment, which is an opportunity for us to get better. We go into, like I said earlier, a turtle shell and we hide without realizing that if we just stood up and took on that adversity head on, face to face, man, the game would change. Hey, this too shall pass. But one of my favorite poems is See It Through. And that poem, it says, when you're facing a problem, lift your head, square your shoulders, plant your feet and take a brace. And that's what you got to do, because the storms of life are coming at you, but they're coming at you because they want you to step into the moment and step up and take on that challenge. Because when you do that, what you learn is, I'm built for this. I'm built for these moments. I have been given a strong mind, a strong will. I have this determination to overcome, and I shall overcome. And that's what you will do. These moments, they come to you, and this too shall pass. Everything that's coming to you, whether it's good or bad, this too will pass, and you'll move on to the next moment of adversity. You'll move on to the next moment of success. But each moment, you got to carry the mindset of, I'm built for this. This is what I'm put on this earth to do. And each time you do that, it takes you to another level. And every time you move to another level, as Bishop T.D. Jakes would say, new levels, new devils. You got new challenges to face. That means you got to transform your mind, prepare it for this new game you're going to be in, because the new arena you step in is going to be tougher. It's going to be harder. Challenges are going to come to you at different directions, at different speeds, and you got to prepare yourself. You got to get ready. You got to become something you've never been. And how do you become something you've never been? Sell yourself that you built for this. Tell yourself that you're the greatest of all time, that you will become champion no matter what. Oh man, it's important. Self-talk. It's so important because it motivates and inspires us if you do it the right way. Negatively, it will defeat you. Positively, it will make you victorious. It will take you to new heights, and you'll start experiencing those things that you always thought was impossible. You'll realize that they are possible for you, and you'll start living into the excitement. You'll start living into the experiences. You'll start living into the hope and belief and faith that life has gotten better for you and that it'll continue to get better for you. So it's important that you become your own superhero, that you overcome transforming your mind, right? Overcome that self-doubt, overcome the disbelief in your abilities. You've got to overcome these things, because that's how you're going to shift your momentum shift. And why is it important? Like I said, you've got to change things for you to begin with. But when you realize that you're changing things for you, and in doing the things that you do every day, becoming consistent, becoming disciplined, and focusing on making the day worthwhile, taking advantage of the opportunities that are there, what you'll realize is you'll start knocking off the goals that you set for yourself. And not only that, the people who are around you are going to take on that system that you're putting together. And they're going to see that, hey, you're successful at it. Why can't I? And that's important, because you want to create a movement. Your life-changing momentum shift creates a movement for others who will follow. And I love what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. He says, I know we'll get to the mountaintop. I may not get there with you, but I know we'll get there. Why? Because he knew that his actions were going to inspire somebody else to pick up the ball when he's not around. And when they pick up the ball, they're going to do even better than where he did. They're going to continue that mission. And that's what you're doing. And that's why when I stood there that moment at 30 years old in the middle of the room, and my friends and family watching on, and I realized that I was playing it short, that I was leading my family, my wife and my 3 kids down a path that wasn't going to end up with us being happy and successful. I knew I had to change things. And that's why you had to change things, because those who follow, leaving the world a better place than what it was when you got here. Those who follow will live in that world. Those who follow will continue that movement. And so it's very important that you continue that. So I want you to understand something, this life-changing momentum shift is important to you. You've got more in your tank. You've got more in you than what you put in so far. I love the quote that says that life begins when you start living in that gap of where you are now and what you could become. And what you could become is infinite. We have no idea. Where you are now is this limit that you put on yourself, this limited self-belief that you've incorporated. But you've got to go beyond that. And beyond that is living outside of that comfort zone you've created. Once you start living outside of that, your life gains this energy level that is just beautiful, because the smile on your face, the happiness, the joy that you have, you now have hope and belief that things are going to get better. You now understand that you're on a journey that nobody can stop but you. Why? Because you're the superhero running it. You're the one that's changing this. You're driving this show, and nobody's going to stop it unless you stop it. So you're the one. You got to just keep pushing, because nobody's going to do it but you. And this is your life. You got to take responsibility for it. And remember, you weren't put on this life just to become somebody who's surviving. You were put on this life in this world to succeed, to do great things, to overcome adversity, to accept the challenges of life and to overcome them. Because why? That's how you built. You're the greatest of all time. Nobody will defeat you. Show everybody how great you are, because you are great. You have greatness inside of you, and don't let anybody ever convince you that, not even yourself, because you can become your own worst enemy. But when you start thinking and believing that you were put on this earth for greatness, can't nobody stop that. Can't nobody stop that.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.